I'm going to show you exactly how to identify 5 specific volcanic rocks that most prospectors walk right past. Rocks that could be hiding gem-quality rubies worth thousands of dollars. You'll learn the telltale signs that separate these ruby-bearing formations from worthless volcanic debris, plus the simple household tests that reveal whether you've found industrial-grade corundum or genuine precious stones. Before you start your next prospecting adventure, you need to understand why experienced miners guard these identification secrets so carefully. Most people think rubies only come from exotic locations, but I'll prove that's completely wrong. Here's what most people don't know about volcanic ruby hunting. Foundation section. Let me destroy a dangerous myth that's costing prospectors fortunes every single day. Most gem hunters believe that rubies only form in marble deposits or pegmatites, the classic textbook locations. That's exactly what big mining wants you to think, because while you're searching played-out marble quarries, they're quietly extracting millions of dollars worth of rubies from volcanic formations that look like ordinary waste rock. The reality check you need to hear is this: volcanic-hosted rubies are actually more common than marble-hosted ones in most accessible prospecting areas. Professional miners know that basaltic and metamorphic contact zones produce some of the finest rubies on Earth, but they look nothing like the polished gems you see in jewelry stores. Here's where most beginners make their first critical mistake. You're probably imagining glowing red crystals jutting out of black volcanic rock, like some fantasy movie scene. That's not reality. Real volcanic rubies appear as dull, often grayish or pinkish chunks embedded in host rock that looks like construction gravel. The metallic luster that indicates valuable corundum is usually masked by weathering and surface oxidation. Unlike what most people think, volcanic ruby formation happens when aluminum-rich magma interacts with chromium-bearing minerals during the cooling process. This creates corundum crystals, and when chromium is present in just the right concentrations, you get ruby instead of sapphire. The key difference is that volcanic environments create different crystal habits and associations than traditional metamorphic deposits. Now here's where it gets interesting for practical prospectors like you. Volcanic ruby deposits are often found in areas that aren't heavily regulated or claimed, simply because most people don't recognize them as valuable. While traditional ruby mines require expensive permits and equipment, many volcanic formations are accessible through public lands or fee dig sites. But there's something even more important you need to understand before we dive into identification techniques. The same volcanic processes that create rubies also produce a dozen different red minerals that fool beginners every single time. Garnets, red jasper, carnelian, and iron-stained quartz all appear in volcanic environments and can waste months of your prospecting time if you can't tell them apart from genuine corundum. That's exactly why you need a systematic identification approach that goes beyond just red color equals ruby. Professional prospectors use a combination of hardness testing, specific gravity assessment, and crystal habit recognition to separate rubies from worthless lookalikes. The secret is understanding that true rubies have characteristics that no imitator can perfectly replicate. Here's the part that surprises most people. Volcanic rubies often grade higher for clarity and color saturation than their metamorphic cousins. The rapid cooling process in volcanic environments creates fewer internal fractures and inclusions, potentially yielding gems suitable for facetting rather than just industrial applications. Before you find your first volcanic ruby, you'll likely encounter dozens of false positives. That's not failure, that's education. Every experienced prospector has collected boxes of rubies that turned out to be garnets or red glass. The difference between beginners and experts isn't luck. It's knowing exactly what to look for and having the patience to test every suspicious specimen properly. Visual identification. All you have to do is master these 5 visual identification markers, and you'll never mistake another garnet for a ruby again. First, you have to understand what genuine corundum looks like in its natural volcanic environment, because it's nothing like polished jewelry. Marker number 1. The metallic adamantine luster. Real rubies display what gemologists call adamantine luster, a brilliant, almost metallic shine that's distinctly different from the glassy luster of quartz or the waxy appearance of jasper. When you rotate a genuine ruby specimen under direct sunlight, you'll see flashes of light that seem to come from within the crystal structure itself. Marker number 2. Hexagonal crystal habit. Unlike garnets, which form in cubic crystals, rubies crystallize in the trigonal system, often appearing as hexagonal prisms or barrel-shaped crystals. Even when heavily weathered, you can usually identify the 6-sided cross-section or the triangular pyramid terminations that are characteristic of corundum. Marker number 3. Exceptional weight. Here's what most people don't know. Rubies have a specific gravity of 4.0, making them significantly heavier than most red minerals found in volcanic environments. A ruby specimen will feel noticeably denser than a garnet of similar size, and dramatically heavier than red jasper or carnelian. Marker number 4. Resistance to scratching. The telltale sign that separates rubies from all imitators is their hardness of 9 on the Mohs scale. Professional prospectors know that a genuine ruby will scratch steel, glass, and even quartz effortlessly, while garnets with hardness of 6.5 to 7.5 and other red minerals cannot. Marker number 5. Color under different light. Unlike what most people think, genuine rubies often appear different colors under various lighting conditions. In natural sunlight, they may look pinkish or even purplish, but under incandescent light, the red becomes more pronounced. Garnets and other imitators don't show this same color-changing property. That's how you'll separate valuable rubies from the dozens of red minerals that waste your time. But visual identification is just the first layer. Wait until you see the location strategies that lead you directly to ruby-bearing formations. Location strategy. Now here's where it gets interesting for practical prospectors. While everyone else is searching played-out creek beds, you'll be targeting 5 specific volcanic environments where rubies concentrate naturally. Formation. Type number 1. Basaltic contact zones. The secret is finding areas where basaltic magma came into contact with aluminum-rich sedimentary rocks. This creates what geologists call contact metamorphism, and it's ruby formation paradise. Look for locations where dark volcanic rock meets lighter colored limestone or shale formations. Formation. Type number 2. Volcanic plugs and necks. Here's what professional miners don't want you to know. Ancient volcanic plugs often contain concentrated ruby deposits because they represent the solidified cores of extinct volcanoes. These formations appear as isolated hills or ridges of resistant volcanic rock surrounded by softer sediments. Formation. Type number 3. Alluvial fans below volcanic peaks. But there's something even more important for weekend prospectors. Weathering breaks rubies out of their host rock and concentrates them in alluvial fans at the base of volcanic mountains. These locations are often accessible by vehicle and don't require mountaineering skills. Indicator mineral number 1, chrome diopside. The telltale sign that suggests ruby-bearing potential is the presence of chrome diopside, bright green crystals that form under the same conditions as rubies. If you're finding chrome diopside, you're in the right geological neighborhood for corundum formation. Indicator mineral number 2, spinel group minerals. Professional prospectors know that spinel and ruby often occur together because they require similar formation conditions. Black or dark green spinel crystals are excellent indicators that corundum may be present in the same deposit. Formation. Type number 4, weathered lamprophere dikes. Here's the technique that changed everything for experienced miners. Lamprophere dikes, narrow volcanic intrusions rich in aluminum and chromium, weather into ruby-bearing gravels that most people mistake for ordinary soil. Look for linear zones of reddish, clay-rich soil cutting across different rock types. Formation. Type number 5, volcanic bomb fields. Wait until you see what happens next. Volcanic bombs, chunks of lava ejected during explosive eruptions, sometimes contain ruby crystals that formed during the cooling process. These appear as rounded, vesicular rocks scattered around ancient volcanic centers. That's why you should focus your prospecting efforts on these 5 formation types, rather than wasting time in random locations. Practical methods. I'm going to show you exactly how to extract and test potential ruby specimens using tools that cost less than $20 total. First, you have to understand that proper extraction prevents damage to valuable crystals that could cost you thousands in lost value. Step 1. The systematic survey method. All you have to do is establish a grid pattern over your target area and examine every piece of float rock larger than a marble. Professional miners know that rubies weather out of host rock and accumulate in natural traps, depressions, root zones, and areas where water flow slows during storms. Tool number 1, the basic geology pick. Unlike what most people think, you don't need expensive mining equipment. A standard geology pick for $15 handles 90% of ruby extraction tasks. The pointed end breaks apart weathered host rock, while the flat end splits specimens along natural fracture planes without damaging embedded crystals. Step 2. The streak test protocol. Here's what most people don't know about distinguishing rubies from garnets in the field. Both minerals can appear similar in hand specimens, but they produce different streak colors when scratched across unglazed ceramic. Genuine rubies produce a white streak despite their red color, while garnets create colored streaks that match their body color. Tool number 2. Unglazed ceramic tile. A simple ceramic tile from any hardware store for $2 serves as your portable streak testing platform. The key is using the unglazed back surface, which provides the rough texture necessary for accurate streak testing. Step 3. The hardness verification sequence. That's how you'll confirm corundum hardness using a progressive testing sequence. Start with a steel file with hardness 6.5 and work up through increasingly harder materials. A genuine ruby will scratch the steel file effortlessly, while garnets will show little to no effect. Tool number 3. Glass testing plate. Professional prospectors use plain window glass with hardness 5.5 as their initial hardness test. Any red mineral that can't scratch glass is definitely not a ruby. This eliminates carnelian, red jasper, and many other false positives immediately. Step 4. The specific gravity water test. Before you start advanced testing, You need to understand the density separation technique that reveals corundum's exceptional specific gravity. Fill a graduated cylinder with water. Note the level. Then add your specimen and measure the displacement. Safety consideration number 1. Eye protection. Here's the part that surprises most people. Rock fracturing can produce high-velocity fragments that cause serious eye injuries. Always wear safety glasses when breaking apart potential host rock or performing hardness tests. Step 5. The UV light response test. That's why you should carry a small UV flashlight for $8 during your prospecting trips. Many rubies show fluorescence under ultraviolet light, appearing bright red or pink even when their daylight color seems dull. This characteristic helps distinguish them from garnets, which typically don't fluoresce. Step 6. The magnet elimination test. The secret is using a strong rare earth magnet to eliminate iron-bearing minerals that masquerade as rubies. Garnets often contain iron and show magnetic attraction, while genuine corundum is completely non-magnetic. Tool number 4. Rare earth magnet. A small neodymium magnet for $3 fits easily in your prospecting kit and instantly identifies magnetic minerals. This single test eliminates more false positives than any other field technique. Step 7. Crystal habit documentation. Professional miners photograph every promising specimen from multiple angles before extraction. This documentation helps with later identification and provides evidence of natural crystal faces that indicate authenticity. That's how you'll extract and test potential rubies without damaging valuable specimens or wasting time on worthless minerals. Advanced recognition. Now, here's where most prospectors fail. They find genuine rubies, but don't recognize the quality indicators that separate $1,000 gems from industrial-grade material worth only a few dollars per pound. Quality factor. Number 1. Color saturation depth. The telltale sign that distinguishes gem quality from industrial-grade corundum is color saturation under natural lighting conditions. Professional gemologists know that true pigeon blood red rubies maintain their color intensity from multiple viewing angles, while lower grades appear washed out or show zoning patterns. Shape variation number 1. Star ruby formation. Here's what most people don't know about asterism in natural ruby specimens. Star rubies form when tiny rudal inclusions orient themselves along the crystal's natural growth planes, creating the 6th-grade star effect. These inclusions actually increase value when properly oriented, contrary to what beginners assume about flawed specimens. Quality factor number 2. Transparency assessment. Unlike what most people think, gem-quality rubies don't need to be perfectly transparent. The secret is understanding that slight translucency with vibrant color often indicates higher value than perfectly clear specimens with weak color saturation. Professional appraisers know that silk, fine rudal inclusions, can actually enhance a ruby's beauty and value when present in moderate amounts. Formation. Pattern number 1. T. Trapeche ruby recognition. But there's something even more important for advanced prospectors. Trapeche rubies display wheel-like patterns created during crystal growth, and they're among the most valuable finds possible in volcanic environments. These formations only occur under specific pressure and temperature conditions found in certain volcanic settings. Mistake number 1. Confusing heat treatment potential. Here's the technique that changed everything for experienced collectors. Many naturally dark or purplish rubies can be heat-treated to achieve better color, but this requires recognizing which specimens have the right chemistry. Rubies with high iron content may not respond favorably to heat treatment, while those with proper chromium to iron ratios can dramatically improve. Quality factor number 3, crystal termination analysis. Professional miners examine crystal terminations to assess formation quality. Well-formed hexagonal pyramids indicate slow, stable growth conditions that typically produce higher-grade material. Corroded or etched terminations may indicate hydrothermal alteration that affects gem quality. Formation. Pattern number 2, twin crystal recognition. The secret is identifying polysynthetic twinning in corundum crystals, multiple crystal orientations within a single specimen. While twinning can reduce clarity, it sometimes creates unique optical effects that increase collector value beyond typical gem quality standards. Value assessment number 1, size to quality ratio. That's why you should understand the exponential value increase with size in gem quality rubies. A 2-carat gem quality ruby isn't twice as valuable as a 1-carat stone. It's potentially 10 times more valuable, assuming equivalent color and clarity grades. Mistake number 2, discarding fractured specimens. Here's the part that surprises most people. Fractured ruby crystals often contain cabochon-quality material that's valuable for jewelry applications. Professional lapidaries can work around fractures to maximize yield from specimens that beginners discard as worthless. Quality factor. Number 4, origin determination clues. Before you find your first high-value specimen, you'll likely encounter rubies that show specific characteristics indicating their volcanic origin. Volcanic rubies often contain mineral inclusions different from metamorphic examples. Zircon, apatite, and pyroxene inclusions instead of the typical calcite and mica found in marble-hosted stones. That's how you'll recognize quality indicators that separate valuable finds from industrial-grade material. But wait until you see the home testing methods that confirm your discoveries definitively. Climax and final reveal. This is the moment you've been waiting for. I'm going to reveal the 3 home testing methods that definitively prove whether your specimens are genuine gem-quality rubies worth pursuing further, using nothing but household items and tools from your local hardware store. Home test number 1, the thermal conductivity method. Here's what professional gemologists don't want amateur prospectors to know. You can distinguish genuine corundum from glass imitations using thermal conductivity differences, measurable with a simple technique. Place your suspected ruby specimen and a known piece of glass in a freezer for 30 minutes. Then remove them and observe how quickly each returns to room temperature when held. Genuine rubies conduct heat differently than glass or synthetic materials. The ruby will feel cold longer and warm up more gradually due to corundum's specific thermal properties. This test eliminates glass slag, which is common in volcanic environments and fools many beginners. Home test number 2, the acetone resistance protocol. But there's something even more important for final verification. Many synthetic rubies and treated stones show damage when exposed to acetone, which is nail polish remover, while natural corundum remains completely unaffected. Soak a cotton swab in acetone and touch it to an inconspicuous area of your specimen for 30 seconds. Natural rubies show no reaction, while dyed stones may show color bleeding, and some synthetic materials may show surface etching or dulling. This test is particularly valuable for specimens that pass all other identification tests, but still seem suspicious. Home test number 3, the polarized light analysis. The secret is using polarized sunglasses to observe pleochroism in your ruby specimens. Genuine rubies display different colors when viewed through polarizing filters at different angles, typically showing stronger red in one orientation and more purplish red when rotated 90 degrees. This optical property cannot be replicated in glass or most synthetic materials, making it your definitive confirmation test. Simply hold your specimen up to bright sunlight while looking through polarized sunglasses. Then rotate either the specimen or the glasses to observe color changes. Success indicator. Number 1. The complete package. Professional appraisers know that genuine volcanic rubies pass all tests consistently. Your specimen must demonstrate proper hardness, specific gravity, streak test results, fluorescence response, and optical properties before you can confidently identify it as genuine corundum. Quality Assessment Framework. Now here's where it gets interesting for determining actual value. Use this 4-grade system to assess your confirmed ruby specimens. Industrial grade, opaque, heavily included, suitable only for abrasive applications. Value, $1 to $5 per pound. Cabochon. Grade, translucent with good color, suitable for tumbling or cabochon cutting. Value, $10 to $100 per carat. Commercial grade, semi-transparent with moderate inclusions, suitable for commercial jewelry. Value, $100 to $500 per carat. Gem grade, transparent with excellent color and minimal inclusions, suitable for faceting. Value, $500 to $5,000 or more per carat. Validation system summary. That's how you'll know definitively when you've found something valuable. Your specimen must pass the hardness test by scratching steel and glass, show proper specific gravity by feeling heavy for its size, display correct optical properties, including pleochroism and possible fluorescence, resist chemical damage in the acetone test, and demonstrate appropriate thermal conductivity characteristics. Final reality check. Here's the part that surprises most people. Even following this complete system, finding gem-quality rubies requires patience and persistence. Professional prospectors typically examine hundreds of specimens before finding one worth cutting. But when you do find that special stone, the reward makes every hour of searching worthwhile. Wait until you see what I'm going to show you next about turning your finds into actual profit. You now have everything you need to start finding volcanic rubies that other prospectors walk right past. It's not easy, but it's definitely possible when you understand exactly what to look for and where to search. Remember, experienced prospectors didn't learn this overnight. Start with easily accessible volcanic areas in your region. Practice your identification techniques on every red mineral you encounter, and build your confidence through systematic testing. That's how you'll develop the expertise that separates successful gem hunters from weekend hobbyists. Your next step is choosing your first prospecting location using the geological formations I've described. Focus on one area at a time. Spend full days learning its characteristics, and document everything you find, both the false positives and the genuine discoveries. But here's what I haven't told you yet. Finding the rubies is only half the battle. In my next video, I'm going to show you exactly how to evaluate, document, and sell your volcanic ruby finds for maximum profit, including the specific markets that pay premium prices for unique volcanic specimens. If this video helped you understand volcanic ruby prospecting, subscribe for more advanced techniques that turn your finds into real income. Drop a comment below about your local volcanic areas. I might feature your region in an upcoming location-specific guide. Remember, every expert was once a beginner who refused to quit. Your first valuable ruby is out there waiting in a volcanic formation that everyone else ignores. Now get out there and start prospecting.